for the Unit 5 test. You're going to find the inverse of this. So what we're going to do, first of all, step 1, turn it into y equals. Step 2, switch x and y. And then solve for y. To get y by itself, I get rid of the loner plus 4 by subtracting 4. And remember, x minus 4 is x minus 4. And then bring down negative 3y. To get rid of the negative 3 in front of y, we divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Okay, so cancel out. That's my final answer. I write it as an inverse function, x minus 4 over negative 3. Now, I look at my answer choices. That's not one of my choices. Now, here's the deal. When you're dividing by a negative, okay, it changes all of your signs. So really, this is a positive 3 on the bottom, and on the top, you change the signs to negative x plus 4. So that is an equivalent fraction, and we see that that answer is letter B. Okay. Number 2, same idea. I'm going to turn this into y equals 2x plus 3. I'm going to switch x and y. X equals 2y plus 3. And then I'm going to solve for y. I get rid of the loner, minus 3, minus 3. And remember, x minus 3 is x minus 3. Last step to get rid of that 2, divide everything by 2. You can already see the answer, but let's write it as a inverse function, x minus 3 over 2. Okay. Number 3, when you're finding the inverse relation for a set of ordered pairs, all you're going to do is switch x and y for every point, okay? So if I switch negative 5 and 10, negative 9 and 7, negative 6 and 0, and then 12 and negative 8, I'm going to get letter B. B switches everything around perfectly. Okay. All right, number 4. Now, this was supposed to be written as f of x equals x plus 6 over negative 2. It just wouldn't make a fraction look nice, so same steps. We turn it into y equals x plus 6 over negative 2. Switch x and y. And then we get rid of, first, the negative 2. Because it's a big fraction, we want to get rid of the denominator. So multiply by negative 2. Multiply by negative 2. Those cancel out. A number times a variable, put it next to each other as a coefficient. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. That equals y plus 6. And then my last step to get rid of that positive 6 is to subtract 6. So negative 2x minus 6 is negative 2x minus 6. And I can write it as the inverse function notation. So we get G. Okay, number 5. If I have 2 points and I want to know what point does the inverse go through, again, you're going to switch x and y. This to get negative 1, negative 4. We switch this to make negative 4, negative 6. And we get letter A. So make sure you switch the points. Okay, inverse of a function, once again, turned into y equals x squared plus 2. Switch x and y. Okay, and then we're going to solve for y. Get rid of the loner. Minus 2, minus 2. X minus 2 is x minus 2. Now, last step to get rid of a square is to square root. And square root the whole thing. So the inverse of G is the square root of x minus 2. The whole thing is underneath the square root because the whole side was square rooted. And we get letter J. Okay? It's a little different if it doesn't look like that. Okay? So be careful. Number 7. Find the inverse of this. Once again, make it y equals switch x and y. Now, if I'm solving for y, I'm not going to get rid of the square root first. I'm going to get rid of the loner, minus 3. What is x minus 3? It is x minus 3. And then to get rid of a square root, we learned this last time. You square it, and you square the entire other side in parentheses. Okay? So we get y equals x minus 3, the whole thing squared. So I can write it as an inverse function. Okay. I get this probably should have been G, and this probably should have been G. Whatever. Okay. You get the idea. Number 8. If I have a table, again, a table of x and y, what am I going to do? I'm going to switch x and y. So if I switch this, negative 3, 0, and 2 will be on x, and the only one I see is letter F. Negative 2, negative 6, negative 8 are on the y, so that's a good answer. Alright, and then number 9. Now, what we want to do is get some points, switch x and y, and then graph again, and see which one matches. So here's some obvious points. This one and this one, okay? Now, that, I'm going to do like 3 points here. So I got what? 0, 2, 1, 0, 2, negative 2. If I switch that, okay, I'm going to get 2, 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 2. Let me plot those new points. Okay, so I have 2, 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 2. Okay. So now I'm looking for this line to be graphed. So A, B, C, or D, which one looks like that? A is not a negative slope, B is not a negative slope, C is not a negative slope. A, doesn't D have all these points? 2, 0, 0, 1, negative 2, 2. It does. Okay, last but not least, those 4 steps for an inverse function. Again, f x right as y, right? Step 2, switch x and y. And then we solve for y. And then my last step, write in inverse notation. Inverse notation. Now, that's f inverse x. Now, you don't have to use f. It could be g. It could be something else. There's another way. I mean, the way this is written in your notes, okay, look at your notes. It might be written a little bit different, but as long as you understand it and write it in your own words, that's going to be fine too. Okay, your test is just like this review, so make sure you're ready. Okay, and make sure you turn in all your missing work. That's a great review too.